everything is psychological, right? So you're dealing with world-class technologies and people, but when you kind of boil it down, all of these problems, all of these misunderstandings, even when people are looking for the same objective, this psychology gets in the way. So rather than being a facilitating factor, making things smoother and having us be more productive, having better lives and so on, it's often the kind of gating item that's stopping that. And then I noticed more and more people were taking, various psychotropics and anti-anxiety, and it's only gotten worse now. And that kind of pushed me in that way to kind of go deep into, what was psychology and what are some of these root causes, and then what solutions could come out that a normal person could use without having to study for years or have to be very technical. And that's kind of where this led me into this idea of, the psychological operating system, a psych suite, so sort of Microsoft Office for your mind, and then various other pieces that are already productized to make that a reality.
So a lot of people spend a lot of time in the monastery developing that Zen attitude or what have you, chanting under a waterfall, but you've developed a different approach. How did you come up with it?
Yeah, so a lot of it was trial and error. So I when I was in high school, we moved around a lot when I was a kid. I had actually during my senior year, I'd come down with these intense panic attacks. No one really knew what they were in those days. And I was like, this is, how is this coming? What's happening? And, then they introduce you through the, psychiatrist, whatever, to CBT, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy, which directly is kind of a modern take of Stoicism, right? Applied Stoicism. And, I went through that. I learned that a lot and it was very helpful. But then over time, I was always wondering where this came from. And you started seeing a lot of issues we also grew up in military towns, around the Marine bases in Southern California. And you look at things like PTSD and so on, and anxiety. And as I began analyzing that and just applying things I knew about statistics and what happened to me and so on, you begin to develop these models. And then it's just a matter of testing them again and again, helping other people try them. And eventually you kind of realize this is a complex model with many different pieces, and many of these have interplays and also loop back on themselves. And I just kept moving down into this idea of the operating system until you can componentize everything and begin to break them down into smaller elements and primitives. And then once you've done that, they should be able to recombine like Lego bricks. So think of taking a kit and breaking it down to individual bricks. Well, they should be able to be reassembled again into some type of application, right? Either for interviewing, relationships, or just generally work with yourself. And each time I kind of felt that I came to the limit, right? Whether it was stoicism and so forth, you find something new, right? You just keep moving it down. And I'd say there's certain ways to get to this. Just some may be more effective. So it'd be no different than programming a computer. You can program using punch cards or tape in the old days. You could program using tape. You can program from the keyboard and so on. So there may be more effective ways to program and to get to this point. But we're all doing it now, whether we know it or not. And that's the thing. Most of it is kind of covert or unconscious. And this idea is to surface and show you, what's impacting your life and programming you down to your neurons without you probably even being aware.